David is shocked to see cross-shaped scars on Kristen's belly, halting their intimate moment. Kristen apologizes and leaves, only for Kristen to return and they have sex. Kristen later establishes a safety plan with her daughters regarding Townsend and obtains a restraining order against him. The church assigns the team to oversee an experiment involving a terminally ill priest who will be weighed at the moment of death to determine the existence of the soul. The priest dies briefly, only to miraculously return to life and health. Meanwhile, Townsend contacts Lexus through an anonymous free-to-play internet game, but the Bouchard sisters band together to drive him away. Andy evicts Cheryl, who curses him as she leaves. David eventually realizes that the Kristen he's been intimate with has a forked tongue, revealing her true nature as a succubus. An elderly nun is selected to repeat the soul-weighing experiment and dies during the process. After death, her weight increased, leaving scientists puzzled. David is recruited by LeConte, an agent of the Vatican's secretive group known as the Entity. He is tasked with visiting a dying Chinese national, administering last rites, and stealing a postcard. LeConte reveals that the postcard is crucial to the church's plan to smuggle Graceling, a key figure, out of China. Meanwhile, Kristen and Ben investigate the case of visiting Jack, a popular online bogeyman linked to a recent suicide. Kristen is compelled to visit Emily LaRue, who provides crucial evidence revealing that Jack is a scam concocted by two college students. Townsend, in the meantime, offers Cheryl a steady job managing a troll farm for him. Needing funds to renovate their house, Kristen persuades Andy to go on one last overseas job to sell their business to a wealthy investor, Edward. Concerned about David distancing himself from the team due to his work for the Entity, Kristen asks if he's still troubled by their past intimate encounter. David reassures her that it's not the issue, and they renew their friendship, reaffirming their bond as colleagues and friends. David and Kristen work on helping a newly married couple struggling with intimacy issues that prevent them from having sex. Sister Andrea believes a demon is trying to possess the couple, but Townsend manipulates the situation. He uses Sister Andrea's apparent conversations with the unseen demon to suggest to church authorities that she might be suffering from early-onset dementia, prompting an investigation. Meanwhile, Ben falls into a depression and isolates himself at home. His sister, Karima, offers to help Ben understand the strange phenomena he's encountered in his role as an assessor, giving him some much-needed support. Cheryl, on the other hand, hires Melendez to promote a dubious cryptocurrency and asserts her authority over the firm's millennial workforce. With Kristen's guidance, the couple explores rough foreplay, which helps them overcome their intimacy issues and successfully connect. When asked by church authorities to report any unusual behavior from Sister Andrea, Kristen chooses to lie, covering for the nun. The church orders Sister Andrea to retire, accusing her of seeing a demon consorting with a cardinal. She refuses to retire and invokes her right to have the case heard before a tribunal. David agrees to speak on her behalf, supporting her decision. Meanwhile, the team is contacted by a woman seeking help for her spouse, a long-haul trucker who claims to have encountered a demon on the Ghost Highway in Lower New York. The team discovers that the demon is actually a drone piloted by a man named Russ Owlman. Kristen destroys Owlman's equipment, leading to his apparent suicide. David experiences a vision of an angel protecting him, and he discusses it with Sister Andrea. She suggests that his closer connection to God allows him to perceive elements of both heaven and hell. LeConte then reveals to David that Owlman's death has eradicated a demonic house. He explains that the entity's primary mission is to prevent demons from influencing humanity by targeting the humans who represent them on Earth. David meets with survivors of a building collapse who claim that a woman holding a lamb guided them to safety. The church suspects that the woman might be the spirit of a long-deceased nun being considered for sainthood. They ask the team to interview the survivors to uncover the truth. Meanwhile, Cheryl and Townsend engage in a power struggle, where Cheryl wins the promotion, but only after enduring degrading sexual harassment from the manager. Townsend, surprisingly, shows her sympathy, being the only one to do so. As David defends Sister Andrea at her tribunal, he becomes more aware of the church's undervaluing of black angels and saints. However, David's passionate defense, asserting that if Sister Andrea is expelled, he would have to be expelled, too. Highlighting the rarity of black priests in the church ultimately sways the tribunal. Sister Andre is cleared of the charges. The team discovers that one of the survivors, a former employee of Townsend, lied about seeing the woman with the lamb, which leads the church to decline further investigation into the miracle due to the tainted testimony. A new social media platform, VidTap, quickly surpasses TikTok in popularity, driven by a viral trend where users post videos of themselves seemingly possessed by demons. As part of their research, Ben, Kristen, and David create VidTap accounts. Ben becomes increasingly defensive and argumentative. Kristen grows irritable and starts drinking more, and David is tempted by the succubus, who also stokes his doubts about the entity. A single parent contacts David, claiming that a demonic presence is infesting her home and endangering her two sons. Ben, with the help of a friend who works at VidTap, obtains raw footage that reveals the parent herself is harming the boys. Realizing the negative influence VidTap is having on their lives, the team decides to stop using the app. Meanwhile, the Bouchard sisters expose Townsend online as a pedophile, leading to his dismissal from his position with the church. Townsend, furious, vows revenge. Cheryl visits Andy, who is paralyzed and trapped in Townsend's home, and chillingly explains her plan to make Kristen and their children believe that he is dead. David defies an order from the entity to plant a surveillance device in Lex's room. A professional deprogrammer seeks the team's help in treating a young man he believes became possessed during a cult deprogramming session. Kristen and Ben visit the cult, led by a scientist who argues that superstition and science can coexist, challenging Ben's skepticism. David is invited to dinner with the Bouchard family, where he discovers that agents of the entity have already planted a device in their home. He removes it, aware of the breach in privacy. When summoned to explain his actions, David brings Kristen with him. Kristen confronts LeConte, rejecting the idea that Lexus is fated to lead a demonic house. Dr. Boggs decides to write a book about his experiences with demons. However, Sister Andrea, disapproving of his intentions, refuses to be interviewed. Townsend seizes the opportunity to tempt Dr. Boggs with the allure of demonic power, offering him more influence if he agrees to harm Sister Andrea. After successfully reuniting the cult victim with his romantic partner, seemingly curing him of his possession, Kristen and David return to find Ben in a cheerful stupor after being shamed by cult members. LeConte instructs David to report back a specific word spoken at an upcoming assessment involving creepy toys. Ben discovers that these toys are cries for help from Chinese labor camp prisoners. LeConte hints that this word could be crucial in saving Grace. During another assessment, David hears a different word, which he believes is the intended message, but LeConte disagrees. Despite this, David warns LeConte that the church is negotiating with the wrong Chinese interlocutor, ultimately securing Grace's freedom. Leland convinces Dr. Boggs to let himself be possessed. Kristen meets Valerie and Logan, who allegedly received her missing RSM egg. Logan shares concerns about the fetus, mentioning he heard a growl during an ultrasound. Following a frantic nighttime call from Logan, Kristen arrives at his house to find him covered in blood and holding a handrake. He claims the baby was killing Valerie, forcing him to cut it out of her. Kristen rushes into the couple's bedroom and screams in horror at what she sees. Kristen struggles with guilt following Valerie's death. The team investigates a potentially demonic figure that stalks shareholders of a company called DF. Ben buys DF stock to reassure his sister, but has a disturbing encounter with the demon. David theorizes the figure transfers like a curse, so Kristen buys stock to pass the curse to an antagonist. Dr. Boggs shares a manuscript that Kristen's daughters can read, sparking their interest. Grace's visions resume after meeting the daughters, and she warns Kristen that Andy needs help. Cheryl overhears, informs Leland, who kills Grace's bodyguard and attempts to kill her. Monsignor Korecki intervenes, dying in the process, while Leland escapes wounded. Grace informs David that an unidentified man attacked her, and she is promptly escorted to the Vatican for safety. Father Ignatius, distraught, involves the team in a new case with Kristen's neighbor, Sheila Gibson, who hears strange noises from Kristen's house. Kristen's daughters claim Sheila's non-existent daughter, Crystal, is responsible. Eddie Tragorain deceives Kristen about Andy's accident. The Bouchard girls scheme to poke Leland on the game Bumblebee Valley, revealing Eddie as a fraud, though Kristen is too distraught to process this information. Andy returns home but has memory loss. Sister Andre battles demons in Kristen's house. Kristen finds her missing egg at Cheryl's office during a baby shower, revealing Leland as the father.